Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heinz Brothers Mechanical YouTube channel. My name is Trevor and I'm here with Adrien Heinz. He's one of the brothers that own Heinz Brothers Mechanical. And today we're going to be talking about the benefits of adding HRV and ERV to your HVAC system. Now, I have no clue what either of those things are, so he's going to enlighten us a little bit on that topic today. And as we always do with our videos, we start off with an inspirational quote. This one's from Maya Angelou. You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. I love that one. That's very good. I think that, life comes at you hard, especially the last couple of years with all this COVID stuff that's been happening. Don't let it get you down. Don't let you be defeated. All right. Another statistic about HVAC, okay? 73.9% of consumers made their HVAC purchase after consulting at least one online review site. So speaking of reviews, you guys have a lot of reviews out in Sherwood Park there?
Yeah, we do.
Awesome. So highly reviewed company out in Sherwood Park, Alberta. If you need any HVAC, furnace, air conditioning, any plumbing as well, you guys do plumbing, don't be afraid to give them a call. The number's right there on the screen, okay? So, Adrien, let's get right into it. What the heck is an HRV?
Well, an HRV is a heat recovery ventilator.
Okay.
So the actual initial purpose for these is to actually warm up the incoming air into your home before it meets your furnace.
Oh, okay.
So what it does is it'll increase the efficiency of your furnace. At the same time, it's going to be bringing in fresh air from outside and expelling stale air, giving you air changes in your home.
Okay. Now, the next question is, what's an ERV? So when we talk about HRV, what's an ERV?
So an energy recovery ventilator is an ERV. And what it does, it's basically very similar to an HRV, except it's got an added function, which will actually transfer moisture as well as temperature.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds very cool. Are they very common? Now, why would somebody need an HRV?
So probably the most important reason first is to save energy, right? So we want to save energy by using any of the fresh air stale air that we're removing from the home. We're going to take the heat from that air and add it to the incoming fresh air.
Okay.
So instead of having your furnace warm up air that's, minus 30 here in Alberta or minus 40 sometimes, it's going to be warming up, or it's going to be heating warmer air. So it's going to take less BTUs to warm up that air initially.
Let's get into the next decision that people would have is, why would I choose either an ERV or HRV?
So it's based on the different climates that we're in. So you can actually use an HRV as a dehumidifier, as well as bringing in that fresh air. So if your home has a high humidity level and we're a dry climate, so it can be used to dehumidify. It'll bring in that drier air and expel the moist, warm air, right? With an ERV, in high humidity climates, what it's going to do is actually transfer incoming humidity to the outgoing air.
Okay.
So you'll be able to maintain humidity at a better, control humidity better in your home.
Well, that's really good because we are quite dry here. And it affects everything. Like, it affects your skin, it affects that itchiness, the static electricity that gets built up, especially in the wintertime. So having something to control that humidity would be beneficial for anybody in especially Alberta. But think about Vancouver in area, right? Vancouver is very much more of a moist and humid climate. So getting rid of some of that moisture in the air, also a big benefit.
Absolutely. So in that situation, in like Vancouver area on the coast, ERV would likely be a more beneficial choice for you.
There you go. So everybody in Vancouver area, if you don't have an ERV, get one.
So another thing about the HRV and ERVs is that they're actually kind of working as an air purifier.
Oh, okay. So is there a filter inside?
There is a filter inside. So what it's doing is it's removing some of the larger debris before it enters your home. But the biggest thing is that it's actually exchanging air. So with the older systems, you would just have fresh air coming into the home, but nothing to actually ventilate and remove any of the stale air.
Okay.
So that's like one of the major benefits of this system, of these systems as well, is that we're exchanging the air for fresh air.
Very good. So I know it can get very stale inside of a home, especially because they build them so airtight these days. Having a good source of fresh, clean air would be very beneficial for our health, for sleeping, for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about how an HRV works.
So the way an HRV works, there's two basically parallel ducts. So one is bringing in fresh air into the house, and one is removing air. So what they do, they're both plumbed into what's called a heat exchanger. So the HRV is an actual heat exchanger. It's got two fans on it, one for the exhaust and one for the incoming air.
Okay.
So it'll suck the air in, and what happens is both streams of air cross through a heat exchanger. So when the air is leaving the home, the heat will transfer through this heat exchanger into the incoming air.
Okay.
So actually it'll use up to 99% of the heat leaving the house for the fresh air to warm up on the way in.
Nice. So you're saving some of that heat that you've already paid for.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds really good. Now, what about an ERV? How does that work?
So an ERV essentially works the same way, except it is able to actually trap some of the moisture coming into the home and expel it out as well through that a similar type of exchanger.
So like a two-step process instead of just a single kind of process.
So in earlier times, houses were built loose and a lot of fresh air would enter the home and a lot of air would leave the home, right? So it breathed a lot easier. But to increase the efficiency of our heating systems, we don't have to keep burning those fossil fuels and doing that to heat our homes. They've tightened the envelope of the home and increased insulation in that. But we do need to bring that fresh air and expel this stale air. And this also helps trap the heat in rather than bring in just straight cold air.
Yeah, that's really good. I think anybody who is energy conscious, if you're looking at your heating bills and cooling and so forth, it's kind of a big deal right now. I know that my bill increased quite a bit in the last little while. So being able to save a little bit on those energy bills would be great. If you can store some of that energy and reuse it, that's awesome. Much more beneficial. Now the next thing, how do HRV and ERVs affect the air quality in the home? I know we talked a little bit about that, but let's go into it a little bit deeper there.
So with the ERV and HRV, there's actually little filters inside the unit. So when the air is coming in, you've got dust, you've got pollen, you've got all sorts of things. When you're mowing the lawn and that heavier debris, that'll get trapped in those. So you want to clean those probably on a monthly, at minimum quarterly basis.
Okay.
And so that's going to trap the heavy debris before it gets to your furnace filter.
Ah, I see.
So when you have a furnace filter, that'll trap the finer dust. So you're not clouding it up with the heavy debris. So you actually increase the life expectancy of your furnace filters in your home.
Wow.
And make them more effective. This can also work in conjunction with like an air purifier as well, right? So you're bringing in that fresh air, so it acts as somewhat of an air purifier, but that in conjunction with a UV lamp and a high MERV filter, you're gonna have extremely clean air in your home.
Yeah, that's really important too, because where do colds and flus come from? They come, they're airborne, right?
Yeah.
Airborne. So if we can trap them, kill them before they get us and circulate through the house, just helps us be a little bit more healthier in our home, right?
And in the current state, with different viruses coming out and things like that, people are a lot more conscious of having clean air in their home, right? And this is one way of increasing that for you.
Yeah, awesome. I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving you advice, but having clean air I know would be very beneficial for anybody,
absolutely.
Right? There's a reason they have, HEPA filtration on airplanes, right? Because you're trapped in a tube with everybody else. Okay, next thing here, what is the most appropriate type of ventilator for Northern Alberta, kind of where we are?
So in Northern Alberta, typically you see a lot of HRVs.
Okay.
So for my brother, for instance, he had a extremely high humidity level. He was experiencing 68% humidity in his
wow.
home. This is in the middle of the winter when most people are experiencing dry air in their home.
Yeah, yeah. That's very strange.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange situation. And basically, the moment he installed an HRV, he was able to bring in his levels to normal levels. Bring them down to the 35 to 40 zone where they should be, right? And not only that, now he's got fresh air in his home and increased the efficiency a lot.
A lot.
House, yeah.
That's great. Now, I did have a question. Because it's pulling moisture out, is there like a drain on that? Does it trap condensate kind of like a coil in your AC?
That is correct. So it does get kind of plumbed like your furnace. There's a condensate drain off your furnace. There's a condensate drain on your HRV. So that'll actually just be piped into your like floor drain or nearest drain. Or if there isn't a floor drain in the near area, what we can do is put in a condensate pump and pipe it off somewhere else, such as your laundry drain or the nearest drain.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So there you have it, folks. We learned a little bit more about HRVs and ERVs, and if you are in the Sherwood Park and greater Edmonton area, really, we can help you out with one of those systems or get a consultation on them and see if it's the right choice for you. See how you can save some energy as well as breathe some nice, fresh, clean air. And Adrien is the guy to call on that. The number is on the screen. So thank you so much for joining us on this video, and we'll see you on the next one.